Alhamdulillah, which is our session since yesterday. We have heard an interesting topic, Alhamdulillah. So just a brief, this focus is just a small initiative initiated by Prof. Osman back then in 2012 for objective just to get together among like-minded friends and professors who are concerned about issues and problems and challenges in our region. So we meet up around 30 or 40 of us at one place in each country, and we present papers and we discuss matters that concern us. So this is our sixth series. We are stopping actually in 2014 for the 5 years because Osman was in Brunei, and he adopted the program from So Alhamdulillah, we have four presenters. I see already Brother Syahir, Brother Aziz, Aziz and Brother Aziadi, Sister Depi is there. I am Brother Khaldun. I think he will join us soon. So briefly, everyone will be given 10 minutes. I will remind at minute 10, and you have another 2 minutes to wrap up. And then at the end of the session, you are still not finished, we can continue. No problem. We should finish within 1.5 hours. We are not spending too much time. Unless it's very interesting topic, very interesting question, we will try to entertain. So the sequence is we'll start with Brother Aziz first, and then Brother Khaldun if he come, otherwise he can at the end, and then Brother Syahir, and Brother Aziadi, and then Sister Deb. So let me briefly introduce my brother, Brother Muhammad Aziz. He obtained his master's from IIUM. In his he has a long CV here. He's Bachelor in Comparative Law from Darussalam, from Gontor. So his first degree from Gontor and second degree from IIUM, and now he's doing a PhD at Ulum in Comparative Law. And so Brother Aziz also is a frequent contributor to New Strait Time. I think he has sent a few articles he sent to me before. So Alhamdulillah, we look forward for more of your writings. So today he will discuss the presentation will be in English. The title is Jembatan di Negeri Bawah Angin, Kontribusi Hamka dalam Mempromosikan Hifẓ al-Ahl. So without further ado, we invite our dear brother Muhammad Aziz to present his. I think you have to unmute, Brother Aziz. The slide is good. Unmute yourself. Okay. That's great.
Okay, I want to share first my slide.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Okay, it's nice.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Sahron, for inviting me and allow me to present my slide with a title, A Bridge in the Lands Below the Wine, Hamka's Role in Promoting Hifẓ al-Aql. Before going in detail to my slide, I want to introduce myself. I'm Muhammad Abdul Aziz. I'm registered as a PhD student in UCM, and as well as a 3-year experience of settlement in Madrasah Bahrul Ulum Melaka. Okay. First of all, my title is discussing about the role Hamka did as a bridge for Muslim in Southeast Asia. Now we are going to Islam in the lands below the wine. Yes, the first question for sure. Maybe of course you know, but some of you maybe still do not know where is the land below the wine. So the term land below the wine, actually the term given by merchants of Arab at the time. This region referred to a region called Southeast Asia. Why is called land below the wine? Because at the time the merchant of Arab want to reach Nusantara region. And to reach this region, they use the trade wine that blows from the mainland of Asia, actually to Australia. But in between Australia and mainland of Asia, there is a region called here below the wine. So from the equator line to the below. So that's why our region, Nusantara region, called below the wine. So what happened to Islam in this land, in the Malay world? So I want to cite a report in book Hikayat Raja Pasai that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam once said that after his death, there will be a region called this is a dispute among scholars above the wine and below the wine. So this region is called Samudra. So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam called his companion to order his companion to call its people to embrace Islam, because from this region there will be friends of Allah. So this statement actually very relevant, because today Islam in Nusantara become one of promising region of Islam other than other region for sure. Okay, now when we are discussing about Nusantara, for sure, without neglecting other countries in this region, there are two major countries, which is Indonesia and Malaysia. Without neglecting other countries. So there is a historical confrontation between Indonesia and Malaysia. Actually, there are many, but I want to cite also two confrontation. Political confrontation. At the time, President Sukarno declared to its people to smash Malaysia. At the time, in the year 1963 to 1966. This is aftermath of independence of Indonesia as well as Malaysia. For sure, if I was alive at the time, I didn't agree also with the Sukarno's decree of this one. And the second is cultural confrontation. This emerged in the early 21st century. Actually, I think very slight but significant influence from this cultural confrontation. At the time, there is a self-claim between people of Indonesia and Malaysia about a song Rasa Sayangi. This owned by Indonesia, this owned by Malaysia. This why this make confrontation between its people. So our task today is how to bridge the herd of the people of this region. This is our task as academician, as intellectual, as a Muslim for sure. So when we talk about who has devote his effort to bridge between Muslim in Indonesia and Malaysia, I want to say that Hamka is one of them. Hamka, in my slide, I want to advance my exploration how Hamka is very rigorous, is very great in promoting Hifẓ al-Aql, in protection of sound reason. Okay, so I want to define how Hamka promote the protection of sound reason into two aspects, which is affirmation and rejection. Affirmation is called min haythul wujud, and rejection is called min haythul adam. This is the term in the concept of maqasid syariah. Affirmation min haythul wujud, I want to divide them become into two: Hamka and the guided reason, and the second is Hamka as a cosmopolitan Muslim. And the second, the rejection min haythul adam, pure and honest admonition, a gentle reminder to the Mufti of Johor. And the second is criticism, Hamka's criticism against techno reason. I want to go in detail what Hamka has done about his affirmation of reason. What Hamka mean by the guided reason is that Hamka wants to live our intellect and reason not only run, not only work, but the intellect should also work and run in the boundaries and absolute by Allah. This he called guided, not only reason but the guided reason. In the term of Malay, we call akal yang berpedoman. This is very clear and mentioned throughout in his work, one of which is Pelajaran Agama Islam. This is widely distributed in Malaysia, in Kelantan to Melaka. So this fact, I want to go in detail in my paper, all the fact about Hamka and how he promote guided reason. All these facts tell us that even though Hamka was a critic against traditional Muslim, he still had the so-called guided reason. So he's very tolerant. Hamka only hated the fallacy, the failure, not the man of fallacy, not the man of failure. And the second, other than the guided reason, Hamka, how he bridged between Muslim in Southeast Asia, Hamka's ability as a cosmopolitan Muslim. So how Hamka become a cosmopolitan Muslim? This is very clear, very signal in the book owned by Dr. Syed Khairuddin Al-Junaid from National University of Singapore. He has a special book about cosmopolitanism of Hamka. So why Hamka called so? Because Hamka has a broad mind. He's very open-minded. He is very fast reading. This makes him very tolerant, even though, of course, he has his own principle, he has own stance, but he's very tolerant. At the time when he is involved in Muhammadiyah, which is not using kunut. But at the time when he prayed with Kiai Haji Mahfud Siddiq as well as Kiai Haji Idam Khalid, he opted to read kunut, even though actually he daily doesn't read kunut. But for honoring his colleague, he read kunut at the time, as well as Kiai Haji Mahfud Siddiq at the time when he become imam and Hamka become makmum. Kiai Mahfud Siddiq doesn't read kunut for honoring Hamka, who is used to not read kunut. Now, this is the example how tolerant our scholars at the time. See this the aspect of affirmation of reason. And the second is Hamka's rejection of reason. Just now, min haythul wujud, now min haythul adab. So I want to exemplify this aspect with a letter he sent to Mufti of Johor. Mufti of Johor at the time, in Malay, we call the letter Teguran Suci dan Jujur kepada Mufti Johor, written in 1958. So what made Hamka objective was the data used by the Mufti, which was far from the truth, far from the logical reason, from the guided reason at the time. The data also contradict the logical reason. However, contradicting the data the Mufti presented, Hamka at the time was very wise. He didn't use word fitnah. He didn't use word tipu. Even though he criticized the Mufti, but he also honored the Mufti. He used guided reason. And then criticism of Hamka against stagnant reason. This is the example of this aspect. We can find it in most his work, his literature work. For sure, you can see in Merantau ke Delhi. Merantau ke Delhi. Merantau ke Delhi is actually not merely a novel, but is a social critic to the culture of Minangkabau at the time that tend to embrace the matrilineal line, as well as his other novel entitled Tenggelamnya Kapal Van der Wijk at the time was written with the purpose of criticism against forced marriage and materialism that are for sure not in line with the values of Islam. So this is two kinds of example. Materialias as the rejection of Hamka about unguided reason. The first promoting guided reason, and the second is reviewing unguided reason. All this contribution made by Hamka has made him become a bridge. What made him a bridge? Because his value of wasatiyah. In the discourse of Maqasid Syariah, there are 5 essentials: Hifdzuddin, Hifdzun Nafas, Hifdzul Aqal, Hifdzul Mal, Hifdzun Nasr. Actually, all is crystallization of the one important value of Islam, which is wasatiyah. So here I want to explore that Hamka's wasatiyah has become a bridge of Malay world Muslims. I divide how his wasatiyah has contributed to become a bridge into 3 in terms of religiosity and sociopolitics and culture. For sure, religiosity, without mentioning, you all know many works of Hamka have been widely circulated both in Indonesia and even in Malaysia. For sure, I think Hamka is more honored in Malaysia rather than Indonesia. Tafsir Al-Azhar, Teguran Suci, Pelajaran Agama Islam, Sejarah Umat Islam, all as well as his impressive sermons in the field of religion have been still enjoyed throughout Southeast Asian countries. His contribution in academic writings and impressive sermons has become a bridge read by people in Brunei, people in southern Thailand, in Indonesia, in Malaysia. So that's why Hamka, even though he was born in Indonesia, but actually he belongs to people in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Brunei, and other countries. So in sociopolitics,
Yes,
this is
brother.
very key. Okay.
That is goodness, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. The last is this one. If my pen start writing on the paper, what crosses my mind is Nusantara. This is cosmopolitanism of Hamka. I think it is enough. Thank you for the time given by me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. This is a very important topic. I think when Brother Aziz mentioned about the conflict between Malaysia and Indonesia and how Hamka become the central figure, try to resolve it. It's very interesting. I remember Prof. Kamal or someone mentioned they go through Hamka, how to negotiate, become a middleman. So Alhamdulillah, now we go to the third presenter. I think Brother Khaldun is not here. I've not seen his name. So we go to Brother Syahir. He will be presenting on Tuan Guru Haji Aziz. Let me introduce Brother Syahir just very quick. Brother Syahir currently doing his PhD at ISTAC, IIUM. His interest is non-traditional security threat, radicalization, de-radicalization, cybersecurity, social media, and border security. His research experience is non-traditional security threat and management of border security in Malaysia. He has a master's degree in political science and bachelor's degree also in political science. So both from IIUM. So without further ado, we invite our dear brother Syahir to present.
Okay. Can everyone see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To our respected moderator and also my friend presenter. Okay, for today, insyaAllah, I will going to present to all of you the topic entitled Tuan Guru Haji Aziz bin Hikmat, a preacher and political powerhouse in Malaysia. So, in this paper, I will focus on the political contribution of Tuan Guru Aziz, because as everyone knows, he's a Islamic figure, he's a religious figure, but only few people know his contribution, especially in political in state of Kelantan. Okay, as an introduction, Tuan Guru Aziz is a prominent preacher and political figure in Malaysian politics. He started his journey in politics since 1967 until 2013, where from 1990 to 2013, he is the Chief Minister of Kelantan. So around that 10 years, I can say that he has contributed so many things to the state of Kelantan. Okay, then for those who doesn't know him, he was the Mursyidul Ampas, or what we call religious supreme leader. Okay, supreme leader of PAS, which is Parti Islam Malaysia from 1991 until 2015, which is till his demise in 2015. Okay, the reason why I say that he is the one of the political powerhouses in Malaysia, because with small what we call opportunity, he managed to establish a state, what we call the Islamic state in Kelantan. Okay, Islamic state in Kelantan. Alright, so let's go. Okay, Tuan Guru Aziz beginning in political career. Okay, first of all, I will story to all of you the brief background of PAS, which is Parti Islam Malaysia. Okay, PAS first, what we call inception was due to the clash of kaum tua and kaum muda in Tanah Melayu, which is the kaum muda or kaum tua is the conservative ulama, which believe that the politics and Islam should be what we call should be differentiated or separated, and also kaum muda is the progressive ulama who believe that politics and Islam should be bind together. Okay, so Tuan Guru Ni Aziz is from the kaum muda group. Okay, then we go to the second point, which is PAS, the new force of Islam and Malay rights in Malaya. Okay, during that time, around 1940 to 1950s, the political parties at that time are too nationalistic in nature. Okay, which focus on the issue of Malay nationalism. Okay, so the story of the objective of Islam is not included in other parties at that time. So PAS, when it is incepted in around 1950s, if I'm not mistaken, it brings the new perspective to Malaysian politics, which is the struggle of Islam and also the struggle of Malay in Malaya. Okay. Alright. The beginning of Tuan Guru Ni Aziz political career started during the 1970s, which is, we can say that during that time, PAS has changed its structure from a presidency, what we call presidency leadership, to the Dewan Ulama faction leadership. Okay. As I said here, the structure of PAS was modified from presidency de facto leadership to the current structure of leadership of ulama faction, which is ulama faction until today is still the head of PAS. Or we can say that Dewan Ulama. Alright. Okay, Tuan Guru Ni Aziz started to place important roles in PAS after the transition taken place. Okay, since then, there are three ulama which is playing a very important function in PAS, which is Tuan Guru Ni Aziz, Tuan Guru Haji Adi, and also Ustaz Mujahid Yusof Rawa. Okay. No, Yusof Rawa. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let's go to his background. Okay. Tuan Guru Haji Ni Aziz Nikmat, religious figure and his involvement in politics. Okay, when I say Tuan Guru Ni Aziz, I will say that he has both criteria as a good leader, which is he has a good what we call good command in Islam and also a good command in politics. So we can see that this combination of Islam and politics he got from his educational background. Okay, so his education background and its influence on his worldview, in his political worldview and also Islamic worldview. Okay, he got his education from Madrasah, which is the Islamic school. For example, he got from Tok Kenali Madrasah, Tok Khurasan, which is, we can say that among the Nusantara's biggest ulama at that time. And also he got his education from Jembatan Darul Ulum, which is, as we know that many of Islamic modernists are starting from Darul Ulum. And also he has his background in Al-Azhar University, which is in Islamic Sharia as well as Islamism and Arabic. Okay, he is a moderate Muslim with strong influence in politics. Okay, the main adversary to the Malaysian ruling party. Okay, he is the main, in Malaysia we call it musuh. He is the main, what we call political contender for Malaysian ruling party, even until his death in 2015. Okay, the character of a leader. Okay, he ruled the state of Kelantan with the motto of pimpinan melalui tauladan, which is leadership through example. As you can see that pimpinan melalui tauladan is also, he got this idea from the way Prophet Muhammad SAW is ruling or is managing Madinah during Prophet Muhammad time. Okay, so let's go to his view. Okay, his view on Islam and politics. Okay, Tuan Guru ni Aziz views on Islam is a ad-din, okay, a way of life, which is Islam covers every aspects of life. Nothing is left behind in Islam. Okay, for him, secular system brought by the West to the Muslim majority country is not suitable. Okay, this is he's saying. Oh, sorry, I'm translating. Okay. He said that by accepting Islam through its specific focus on the worshipping aspect of only 5 time prayers, fasting in the month of Ramadan, giving alms and perform Haji in Melaka, while the day-to-day transaction, which is muamalat, still under the influence of un-Islamic practice, such as accepting riba, is not the way to practice the real Islam. Which means Islam for him, the 5 pillars of Islam, as well as the what we call the day-to-day transaction, the muamalat of the people. So this view is translated into his state of Kelantan. This view, okay. However, he believes that democracy is good and can be accommodated by Muslims to be utilized for the cause of Islam. Because this view is contradict with Syed Qutb, where Syed Qutb doesn't believe in democracy. But Tuan Guru ni Aziz believe in democracy because he said that we can use democracy to project the message of Islam. For example, the freedom of speech, the principle of freedom of speech and whatnot. Right. Okay, Tuan Guru legacy in Kelantan. So I will focus on his legacy in Kelantan, in the state of Kelantan. Okay, he introduced the philosophy of membangun bersama Islam, okay, which is developed with Islam. Okay. So how he realized this philosophy is he used the bottom-up style of Islamic State, which is he educate the citizen first, not by toppling the government. Okay, he educate the citizen so the citizen can accept the idea of Islam and state. Okay, so at the part of the citizen, he familiarized Islamic practice to the people through dakwah. So we can say that the people of Kelantan is already accepting the idea of Islam through the dakwah process done by Tuan Guru. Okay, on the government aspect, administration aspect, he introduced the concept of ubudiyah, mas'uliyah and itqan, which is ubudiyah, he instill to the government servants that the work is ibadah. Okay, the work, his position as a chief minister is ibadah. Okay, and the second one, he introduced mas'uliyah, okay, a belief that the position as civil servant is not be misused for own benefit. In terms of responsibility, the position is not be to be misused by the government servant, and itqan, seriousness in carrying the responsibility for the betterment of the society. Okay, this is at the administration level. Okay, now we go to the last part, which is the contribution of Tuan Guru ni Aziz. Okay, the first is contribution on empowerment of Islamic law, Sharia law. Okay, in 1993, after he after he get the chief minister position, he approved the enactment of Kanun Jenayah Syariah 2, which is the improvement of the previous hudud law. However, it was stopped by the federal government who intervened on the process to amend the law. Which is this is the main friction between he and the government, the federal government. Okay, and the second is contribution to the social economic scope of Kelantanis. Okay, he social reforming the social life of the Kelantanis. He reformed the Kelantanis social life, which is more focused on Islamic lifestyle. Okay, going to masjid, solat in Jama'ah. Okay. In economy, he rejecting riba. Okay, abolishing prize giving to the government officials, emphasize on the agricultural sector and redefine the concept of economy. Okay, you can after my paper is published, and you can read more detail on it, inshallah. Okay, and his contribution on women in public sphere. Under his leadership in Kelantan, he established the Unit Pembangunan Wanita, okay, to administer issue pertaining women in Kelantan. Okay, for example, introducing laws that uphold women rights. For example, wearing hijab in the hotel industry, and also no advertisement of women without covering hijab. That's me. If you can go to Kelantan, you can see that even in hotel industry, the workers are wearing hijab, and also the advertisement board is full of women with hijab. Not compared to this Kuala Lumpur and the state. Okay, he also introduced the woman village head chief, which is against the normality in Malaysia. Okay, and also the last contribution is the role on racial integration at national level. Okay, he has a soft approach on multiracial society. Okay, and during his position as Mursyid al-Am, he believed in the progressive modernist faction in past to administer the management of the state, while the objective and direction of the party remain on the hand of ulama, which is the progressive modernist faction is already going out from past, with creating another political party. It's not in this paper. And also, he also has a frequent visit to Buddhist temple in Kelantan when invited by them. So he doesn't discriminate other religion. So as a chief minister, he is acting harmonious to every religion in Kelantan. Okay, so that's all from me. The conclusion is Tuan Guru Aziz is a prominent leader in PAS. The history of PAS is incomplete if the period of Tuan Guru Aziz as Mursyid al-PAS is left out. And Tuan Guru Aziz successfully established his model of Islamic state in Kelantan. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Syahir. We look forward for the papers. The person Tuan Guru Aziz is such an embodiment of da'wah, the ulama, the administrator, and his lifestyle is amazing. That very rare in our modern life to see such a figure. Inshallah. Now we move to our third or fourth paper, which will be presented by Brother Wan Muhammad Arsyad. Currently, he is doing his PhD at ISTAC. He will be presenting on bibliographical study on history of Shi'a and Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah in Malay Archipelago. Tuan. Unmute, Brother.
Thank you very much to Brother Sharon for the my presentation today. Today, I will talk. My presentation is about bibliography study on history of Shia and Ahl Sunnah in Malay Archipelago. So along with this presentation, I also will include maybe if we have time to about the advent of Sunnah or Shia in Malaysia. So as introduction, in our country in Malaysia, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah is the only mazhab or section that is recognized by the government. So based on, according to Mahyuddin Haji Syahir in his book Shia and pengaruhnya di alam Melayu, there is no unanimity among the scholars regarding to the advent of Islam in Malay Archipelago. some said Islam came to Nusantara on 7th century AD, and some said in 8th century AD, some said in 9th century AD, and even some of the scholars said in 13th century AD. Most of the Western researchers or scholars tend or prefer to say that Islam advent to Malay world in 13th of century. According to Ibnu Battuta in his book Rihlah, he said that if we accept the Western researchers or scholars' tendency that Islam advent to Malay world in 13th of century, it means that we recognize that Islam has been brought to Malay archipelago by Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah section. Since Sunni Shafi'i has been recognized as official mazhab section in Aceh. However, before we can agree with this study, we cannot forget about the Islamic government in Perlak and also Samudra Pasai, which means if we recognize these two Islamic government, the Sunni Shafi'i based government in Aceh is considered as stage 2 or level 2 Islamic development in Malay archipelago. As we know that in Perlak and Samudra Pasai, their school of thought were based on Shia mazhab. According to Muhammad Shamsuddin and Azmul Fahmi in the article Kemunculan Budaya Syiah di Alam Melayu, satu kajian awal, there are small group of researchers or scholars such as Hamka, Syed Muhammad Nakib Al-Atas, and Azumadi Azra that never recognized the existence of Shia influence in Malay world or Malay society. Even some of them rejected the existence of Shia Islamic government in Perlak. According to Professor Ali Hashmi, a local scholar from Aceh, Shia was the earliest section that arrived in Malay archipelago based on the formation of Shia Perlak government on 2025 Hijriah or 840 Masihi. The Shia influence started to, according to him also, he added, Perlak royalty was the first Islamic royalty in Southeast Asia that hold the power until the 20 and 92 Masihi. The Shia influence started to weaken on 13th of century when Maulana Sheikh Ismail came to Perlak. He has been sent by Sharif Makkah to represent Turki Osmaniyah government to spread Sunni teaching in Pasai. As reported in Hikayat Raja-Raja Pasai, Maulana Sheikh Ismail has successfully converted King of Pasai at that time, that is Malik As-Saleh, to Islam. The word converted or in Hikayat Raja-Raja Pasai as pengislaman or Islamization have been interpreted by some of the Sunni scholars as Shia mazhab convert to Sunni mazhab. However, some of them also interpret it as true Islamization because they never recognize that Shia teaching is parallel with the Islamic teaching and is deviant from Islamic teaching. They formed to use the word firqah najiyah, which means is deviant from the Islamic teaching. So based on this different interpretation, the editor of Hikayat Raja-Raja Pasai assumed that Pasai has been Islamized in the 13th of century AD. The interpretation has been accepted by Western researchers or Western scholars, and they conclude that Islam advanced to Malay world on 13th of century AD with the conversion of Malik al-Saleh. This opinion has influenced some of the local researchers, and they reject the existence of Perlak Shi'ah government and conclude Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah was the first to advance in Malay archipelago. So that's all from me actually.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Wan. This is a very challenging topic. Not the topic itself, the current issues in Malaysia actually. As I see the question by Brother Aziz there, maybe we can discuss later on, inshallah. Now we go to our last presenter, Sister Depi Ika Rahmawati from Muhammadiyah University Surakarta. She will be presenting on moral and akhlaq in sustainable social development, a literature study of the Western concept and Islamic psychology. Sister?
Okay, thank you. I will share screen with other device. Okay. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Depi Karnawati from Muhammadiyah Surakarta University, and in this session I will present my paper with the title Moral and Akhlaq or Ethic in Sustainable Social Development, a literature study of the Western concept and Islamic psychology approach, with my supervisor, Dr. Mempromosikan, SPC MPC. Okay, in this paper, I will discuss more about my country, Indonesia. However, the concept found in this research can be applied in any country. Okay, the introduction, we know that Indonesia is one of the countries with the potential of multiplying wealth, including forest research, ocean research, mine research, and any else. This potential will be maximized if it managed based superior and quality of human research. In this case, the expected of the quality is a moral and akhlaq, capacity and capability. Integrate mental process with religiosity in the management of research. Okay, so that it can suppress and eliminate greed. This time for personal counter and exploitation. Thus, the wealth found can be managed as much as possible for the prosperity and benefit for the nation. I think that. Okay, so the question is, how is the quality of human research as managers? Talking about morality, next I will describe some cases and let us see how the Western concept and Islamic perspective feels it. Okay, it's the first case from Badan Pusat Statistik Indonesia 2020. This crime report shows the movement of the crime rate that occurred for 3 years from 2017 to 2019. Moral psychology views the crime as a cognitive process of someone who is not yet mature in considering the merits of an action. Criminal acts can also be influenced by external demands from the perpetrators themselves. The Islamic perspective view this as an action counter the Allahs, and so that one leads to fujur behavior. Okay, this can be caused by a person's weak relationship with Allah as the regulator of life and destiny. Okay, next, it's a second case about children. The case said show evidence that demolition happen if the Western concept views children's cognitive development and environmental and cultural factor for the child. Islam views this behavior as a form of generation backwardness due to the weak tarbiyah and exemplary process. Continues on the weak internalization of religious and akhlaq in children, so that changing religion and Sharia in muamalah. Okay, I think it's the last case about Indonesian Corruption Index by ICW in 2020. Okay, Indonesian's Corruption Index record by ICW is also an impact of demoralization. This is of course due to the internal drive of the individuals of morality and opportunity. It should be underlined that the moral aspect determines a person's potential for corruption. Because in morals, there is consideration of every action and action. In this case, Islam views moral value alone as not sufficient to protect a person from corruption. However, it needs a spiritual aspect to limit the environmental passion and opportunity that arise. Belief in Allah and the reward of sin needs to be internalized within the individual, because when this starting to appear, corruption have a track record of good morality. I can solve that moral is not enough to become a person defense against corruption behavior. Okay. Now, the aims of this study to obtain a comprehensive picture of the relevance of morals and akhlaq as part of sustainable social development in Indonesia through previous study. And the research method was conducted using a literature study method with a systematic review approach. Articles relevant to the topic raised in this article were collected from several journals portal contained in the Indonesian National Library database. The journal profile used are ProQuest, Science Direct, Ipsos, and Melaka. And the keyword used in the search include morals, akhlaq, and sustainable social development. Okay, from the search result, it was found 16 journals that were relevant to the topic for further analysis. And this is the process of this research. Step 1, define the topic. Step 2, formulate research question. Step 3, identify keyword. Step 4, identify and search database. And step 5, read and analysis. Okay, it's the result. From the Neliti repository Ilmiah Indonesia, we found 4 articles. Then from ProQuest, we found 7 articles. When the Science Direct, we found 2 articles. And Ipsos, we found 3 articles. And the article we collect from Prisma sequence. Now, it's the primary research of this study. Ipsos has 3 articles with 3 articles qualitative. ProQuest, 7 articles with 5 qualitative articles and 2 quantitative articles. Then Science Direct with 2 articles quantitative, and then Neliti 4 articles with 4 articles qualitative. So the sum we found 12 articles qualitative and 4 articles quantitative. Like, I think it's the result of the study literature. We found the concept of moral from 6 articles from 2017 until 2020. Okay. Next, we found concept of akhlak from 9 articles from 2017 and until 2020. And the last keyword, the concept of sustainable social development, we found 4 articles. Okay. From the article, there are a gap between moral and akhlak in Western concept and Islamic psychology. In this table, I will classify for 5 aspects. First, with search, moral as a result of learning, influenced by the social environment and local cultural values. Yeah, while the akhlak, search from nature, religiosity, and Allah revelation. Then the second aspect, with period of development. If moral change according the process of maturity and cognitive development of a person, whereas akhlak settling in someone or consistent. Then direction of behavior. Moral consider in behavior or action, while the akhlak acts without thinking and consideration. Then mental aspect. If moral impresses only the cognitive aspect of mental process, while the akhlak encompasses all mental condition. And the last aspect, unique feature in theory. If moral apart from spirituality or religion, whereas akhlak plunges to aspect of spirituality. Okay, so the discussion. In language, moral and akhlak are often seen as the same things. In English translation, akhlak is synonymous with moral and ethic, but the essence of the two is very different. Morals are often used by the Western perspective to term the values, norm, or good bad that underlie behavior. Based on the result of literature studies, some of the gap found between Western concept and Islamic psychology in explaining moral and akhlak are at the search, its location in human, and its relation to behavior. The Western concept feels that morals are influence of the local environmental and cultural. Meanwhile, Muslim scholars Ibnu and al-Ghazali agree that akhlak comes from Allah's revelation and has become human nature or fitrah. Its essence, the Western concept removes morality from the aspect of spirituality and put it only as a cognitive function in one's mental process. Whereas in an Islamic perspective, akhlak are connected with the spirituality of person as a treasure of Allah and see akhlak as a condition of the soul with the potential of fujur and taqwa. So that the spiritual aspect is what directs him to incline toward one of these potential, fujur or taqwa. Okay, the condition of moral and akhlak of society in nation is very important for its position in sustainable development. Humans as movers and managers will totally to be wealth and even lost their way without a foundation of morality and akhlak in themselves. Therefore, in social development effort, human research are the main points that determine their success. The character needed to manage research to realize the goals of sustainable social development is not limited to the capacity and capability to manage with the available research, but it also needs to contain a godly character and has an aspect of religiosity. This is because the essence of man is in the aspect of his spirituality, so that sustainable social development in its management is based on the aspect of capacity, capability, or spirituality of the one Godhead. The conclusion of this paper, the sustainable social development process can be separate from the aspect of the quality of human research as manager, so that the government continues to strive to improve the quality of human research in this country through sustainable social development program. However, some aspects are missed in the social development process, namely moral and akhlak development. Moral and akhlak are the urgencies of human development because these two things are the basic or control of human action as manager. Over time, it's turned out the demoralization is found in generation. Unfortunately, our government is not aware of this, even though the effect is on the management of this national wealth and concern to welfare of many people. Effort that we need to do together today to improving the condition of morality and akhlak, especially for the next generation, and relying on spirituality, so that in the future there will be state managers and there will who are raised and able to be a solution maker for a problem in this country. Okay, I think that's my presentation of all. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. This is a very, very organized paper. Either, of course, you are very good at it, or your supervisor or your lecturer is very disciplined. Make sure you write it in a very systematic manner. And the issue also is very relevant. Okay. We have some discussion in the chat box between Brother Aziz and Brother Azadi, maybe. Brother Azadi, can you highlight it so that we can record it on the video?
Yes. Actually, Brother Asus asked me quite a lot of questions about the Shia. The first question that I can see is he wonder why the development of Shia in Malaysia is relatively restricted, even prohibited, but the development rise when it comes to Wahhabi, no offense. What makes such a difference? Also for this question, I think if we based on the fatwa, National Fatwa Council, that has been held on the 1984. It conclude that Muslim in Malaysia should only follow the teaching of Islam based on the belief of Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah in terms of Aqidah, Sharia and morality. So based on the fatwa, it does not mention about the Wahhabi or Shia, but in this fatwa, as we can see, it implied that we can understand that what is different, what is not according to what has been fatwa has prepared for as a guideline, as what has been said in the fatwa, it is considered not legal in Malaysia. So in this sense, actually I think Wahhabi is also included in what has been told in the fatwa. So for the second question, one crossed my mind, a question upon listening to Dr. Zakir Naik. This is what also been asked by Brother Asus. He used to consider Dr. Zakir Naik used to consider one a Muslim only when he recognizes Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala as God and Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as his prophet. The question is, why do some scholars say that Shia is no more considered Muslim merely because they are not agree with the companions? Jazakumullah. So in this chat room, I have answer. So I just repeat what I have write in the chat room. According to historian, the Sunni and Shia history, seeds of division when was emerged when Prophet Muhammad SAW died. It happened because he never, Prophet Muhammad never clearly stated who would be his successor. So from this history, we can understand that the disintegration has happened because of the division between the companion of Sahabat. They are clash with each other about who will be lantik, siapa yang nak dilantik sebagai pengganti or as a khalifah after Prophet Muhammad died. So while the minority choose the Prophet's cousin Ali bin Abi Talib to lead the community, the other companion suggests that Abu Bakar is the one who is qualified to replace Prophet Muhammad SAW. Then based on this history, after maybe some of historians say that they officially, Shia officially exists when after Tahkim, actually after Tahkim between Sayyidina Ali and Muawiyah. So the letter which is who support the support Sayyidina Ali is called Shia, and the other companion who support Abu Bakar is called Sunni. So based on my opinion also, Brother Asus also asked another question. He says that if Shia still considered Muslim, from my opinion, as long as Shia is still recite Syahadah, Kalimah Syahadah, we cannot say that they are not Muslim. So for me, I still consider them as Muslim. So lastly, I think the disintegration between Sunni and Shia happens because both from Sunni and from Shia have extremist group and they provoking each other. That's why this integration and the what we call the clash happen till today. That's all.
Okay, thank you. I have a small question for Brother Aziz. I have heard now several Indonesian scholars or friends saying that Hamka is gaining popularity in Indonesia. Can you quantify that? In what way that is gaining popularity? What aspect? Are there any film or movies or I don't know, maybe new books on him by other authors in Indonesia? Unmute. That is unmute. Oh, okay.
Yes, thank you, Doctor, for your question. I think that is my next job to quantify. This is a very great suggestion to my paper, inshallah.
Oh, okay. Because I heard few people say, "Oh, now Hamka is gay." Maybe I think a movie coming up, like Ahmad Dahlan.
Yeah.
Someone will produce a movie on him.
There is a biographical novel written by actually my friend also who wrote it, and that will be shared in the form of film.
Okay. I think it has to be multimedia. If it written can also, but then take more time. If it on YouTube or even on movies, on film, will be much faster. Okay, now to Brother Syahir, I think one of criticism against our dear respected Tuan Guru Aziz is the succession plan. It seems he failed in that score. Those who came after him immediately reject him. But what your take on that?
Okay, my take on the succession plan of Tuan Guru Aziz is that you can say that past is a very what we call hierarchical party. So whoever in the top will what we call who surpass the what we call the objective of the party. So I think maybe the current leadership of PAS is not in line in their worldview on Islam and politics. So I think this is not the fault of Tuan Guru Aziz, but it's a politics. It's all about politics. It's politics of PAS. I think that's my take on the issue.
Okay then. It depends on who is asking and who is answering, is it?
Yes. Yes.
But Alhamdulillah. So I think that's all for our presentation. I will invite again all our presenters to spend 1 or 2 minutes as a conclusion. Yes, Brother One.
Yes, I see one question from Sharifah.
Oh, okay.
Can I answer the question?
Sure. Go ahead. I will see that.
Yeah, to Sister Sharifah.
Oh, yes, yes.
Is it true to argue that Shi'ah is politically oriented? The Islamic Republic of Iran has established Ahlul Bayt wal Zambi Abwa. Can you elaborate on it looking at its influence in Malaysian context? Abwa targets Sunni Shi'ah sympathizer. Who could possibly be the Sunni Shi'ah sympathizer in Malaysia? Basically, from the based on the question, once I have a chat with a friend from Iraq. He's a Sunni mazhab, and I asked him how Sunni and Shia live together in Iraq. He says that they live harmonically in Iraq actually, but the clash happened when the extremists, as what I said before this, the extremists actually comes from the one who wants to hold the political power. So because of the extremist group, because of the one who greed for political power, Sunni and Shia disintegrate. So this is what he told me about Sunni and Shia clash. So based on this, your question, I think because they are governed, so they are actually political oriented. That's it.
Okay. I'll invite Brother Aziz to have a final word. We can wrap it up. Yeah, you have to unmute. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. I am very grateful to be allowed to present here. And the issue of Islam in the Malay world as well become my next research interest in my PhD, inshallah.
Thank you. The DP, I think your paper is so solid, so we can't ask anymore. so complete. So any final words?
Okay, thank you very much. I will answer the question from Janahara Ataria. I guess it's Janahara. Morals and akhlak are the same concept about goodness, but in Western and Islam perspective. So how do you think about that? Okay, thank you. Yes, we know that moral and akhlak lead to the concept of goodness. However, what we highlight in this paper is looking moral and akhlak in sustainable social development. Okay, so we will to make a look moral and akhlak in position in sustainable social development. Okay, after we are study literature, it turned out that there have a gap between moral and akhlak concept. Same with I present in the slide before this, and therefore I finding a gap between the two concepts, and we trying to integrate there to strengthen in sustainable social development. So we hope that the process of human development effort in it is only not limited to the capacity and capability. However, it integrates is this we can integrate the capacity, capability, and moral with and moral and akhlak. Okay, so that I think these four aspects, namely moral, akhlak, capacity, and capability, are internalized within the individual. So we hope is that the management of the nation, the wealth of the nation, and other system of life, it's not for a personal orientation based on the less, but for the benefit for all humans and universe. I think that. Okay, I think that. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. The Syahir, final one. And then we got brother one after that. Unmute, brother Syahir.
Sorry.
Okay.
What to say? I think
This project.
I have no comment. I have no comment. Okay, I hope that everyone who see or hear about any political figures just what we call sidik dulu sebelum berkata-kata. Itulah maksudnya. That's all from me. I don't know what to say. Sorry.
Inshallah. Okay, brother one, final one.
Actually, for me, the clash between Sunni and Shi'ah that has been inherited a long time ago should be seen as a nightmare to Malay to the Islamic world, because I have read a book, a Nostradamus book, and that in the book predicted that in 2029, if I'm not mistaken, there will be a war between Sunni and Shia. So if you don't know what, if do not want to the prediction is really happen. So the leaders of the Islamic world should have any talk or the discussion how to tackle this issue. So that's it.
Thank you so much. I think this issue of Shia, and in the morning we listened also about Wahhabi. It's very saddening to us for Muslim, because both sides are Muslim, although the issues are different. But the friction because of misunderstanding or historical reason, really, we have a bigger problem. We have issue of corruption, poverty, lack of education. But now we keep quarreling with each other. You are Shi'i, you are this, and or you are Wahhabi, and you are that. But that's all the challenges for us to move forward. I think Brother Wan and everyone else can help this matter. And thank you so much. Discussion about Hamka and Aziz. These are two great figures. Maybe someone can write a thesis or comparing of these two figures. What are their approach in da'wah? They are all par excellence da'wah. As Brother Syahir said, even the Buddhist monk, the Chinese, the Tamil, they all go to see Aziz, ask for blessing. When their children have an exam, they go for Aziz, asking, "Oh, please to Guru, bless my son, bless my child," or whatever. They are not at all. So these are the respect. The same with Hamka. I think Hamka is also par excellence. People respect him from across the religion. And Sister Debbie, I think you should do your. Are you doing your PhD or masters now?
No, I still bachelor.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah. I think your discipline is so commendable. If you can continue writing in that way, I mean, really focusing on the literature review and then access it and evaluate it. That's the way. That's how we write papers. You don't just sit and write. You have to do all the detail very well, and you did it very well, inshallah. So thank you, everyone. please send us your paper within 2 months. If it's good in our own judgment, then we'll publish it. If it not published, we'll publish your abstract, the name. Inshallah, till then we meet again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.